Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever roundtable discussion podcast of the Posterman Podcast.
We're discussing our own podcast?
Yep. We're here to discuss the intervention.
Uh-oh.
What intervention?
Who needs in the conversion?
Tyler, your drinking has become a problem.
Uh-oh, Tyler, you are a thirsty boy.
I'm joking!
As Elijah has a drink in his hand.
Elijah can't breathe here, apparently.
Oh, and Tyler, you first, boy.
My name is Elijah.
I'm Ken, hello.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Lewis.
Now, I want to point out, the last podcast, we talked about where people sit.
Why are dude?
And we made fun of Tyler.
That wasn't the last podcast. The podcast before this one. We didn't talk about it during Jeepers Creepers, did we?
We did.
No.
Because
We
we
did?
couldn't introduce ourselves.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's right.
We had a hell of a time.
No, it was great. I mean, I'm Ken.
I am George.
Yes. And then we were saying how I was here, and then Lewis was over there, next to my left, and we denied that. And now Lewis is to my left.
He was fixing it for you. So in short, you were the one with the problem.
Yeah.
Your problem.
I do not have a problem.
No, it was, yeah, like we were, because last time, yeah, but either way, we are where we are and we are who we are.
Yep.
I'm a thirsty boy.
We.
That was the best.
And we're gonna talk about Godzilla today.
We're gonna try something here, everybody.
Welcome to the Great Creature Feature Month of 2020 Experiment Posterman Podcast Edition.
Don't assume.
Tyler, insert music.
I kind of want Lewis to continue with whatever noise he just made.
That was like the dun dun dun.
Oh, okay.
You should-
Dun, ba, dun.
You should put the song from Godzilla King of the Monsters that was in the credits.
It's probably copyrighted, but
To explain what we have done, or what we are hoping to do,
Gets all on this one.
because it was kind of my idea.
I like this idea.
He is mastermind.
So,
His evil plot.
what we have done is we have all four of us watched a different Godzilla movie.
Gojira.
Some of us have seen others have seen these movies before.
Ding.
Elijah made it a point to rewatch all of the movies.
I'm not gonna lie, I had to watch one of them. I watched one of them because I didn't know if one person was gonna watch it.
I've seen all but the one.
Oh, you didn't see Shin Godzilla.
I have only seen two of these.
I have
I was trying to be mysterious, and you ruined it.
Sorry.
I've only seen
I
one.
didn't think about that.
and it's
No, you've seen Godzilla '98, haven't you?
yeah, that's the one I'm saying. I've only seen one. Before I saw.
Oh. Before you saw the one that you watched?
Yeah.
So you've seen two. Okay.
Yeah, like as in like.
Okay. Real
1
confused.
+ 1 is 2!
Well, no, we were saying I thought before we saw the movie that we just saw. You know what I mean? Like
No, I had-
before. I've never seen this one. Before this, I've
Well,
only
I had-
seen.
Okay, then before this, I've only seen three.
Okay.
I had seen Shin Godzilla before, so I had seen two before, and I've still seen only two
I didn't see
Okay.
Tyler.
because I rewatched the one
Mine was
that
a
I
charm.
watched.
Gotcha.
Yours was a delight.
Viking Gojira talk.
So, who wants to start off the madness? Should we go earliest or should we go
We should go.
to newest to
Jesus.
oldest?
We should go to from oldest to newest.
All right, so
Tyler's
Tyler's
Taylor.
up.
Start.
Taylor,
So,
start timer now. buddy.
Taylor's movie. And see, the funny thing is, none of us did any Godzilla movies that are incredibly old. Tyler's oldest is from 1993.
Wow.
Yeah, I was watching it, and I'm like, oh, this isn't as old as I thought it was going to be.
Your baby boy.
But we each only get 20 minutes.
So, I was supposed to watch Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, the first one, and screwed up and rented Mechagodzilla 2. So that's the one I watched. So, this one, they have a police force or military called
G-Force!
Called G-Force. And the sole purpose is made to battle Godzilla. It is great.
So that's why they have constructed Mechagodzilla.
So they have constructed
Contracted?
Contracted.
Billions of dollars made.
I've contracted
Mechagodzilla.
Honey,
They can-
you should call the doctor.
They found at the beginning. I think they showed the old Mechagodzilla's head.
No, it was that first plane. They showed you the plane at the beginning of the movie. They showed you the plane,
Yeah, I know.
which was what Flyboy Tom Cruise wanted to
Yeah.
do, fly.
But at some point they showed you old Mechagodzilla's head, and then they were like, "Look at new Mechagodzilla!" An
He's-
opening sequence,
He's shiny
and
buff.
he was juiced.
Was he gassed up?
He was stacked.
He was packing some heat. So, anyways, Godzilla comes. They go out to test this thing, and Godzilla gets his ass whooped. Godzilla gets up from an ass whooping.
You didn't introduce the characters, Tyler.
No,
Do you want Ken
no,
to say the plot synopsis?
Ken.
This is my time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna do this how I want
It's
to.
his time. You got it, boy. I believe
So, Godzilla gets up, knocks down Mechagodzilla. He literally just pushes it over after he electrifies it.
Did we
They-
skip Rodan?
How did he? Did he like use his like his?
Because Rodan's first before we fight Mechagodzilla.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Because
You need the reason why Godzilla came to
that's
Tokyo.
right. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
That's why I watched all four.
So yeah, to Elijah's point, they had scientists on a mountain of nuclear waste, which is great. That's the place I want to go. And they found an egg, and next to the egg is a broken egg that we have to assume is the Rodan that shows up. And it's massive. So Rodan shows up, the egg starts glowing. They put the egg in a helicopter, and then it starts glowing when Rodan shows up.
Because it's scared, Tyler.
We don't know that yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's glowing. They're like, oh, it's glowing. And then they look at Rodan. He drops phantom bombs from his wings
Rodan
on everything.
Rodan has this absurd power.
Rodan's the one with the 3 heads, right?
No,
No,
that's
he's a
King
pterodactyl.
King Ghidorah.
Ghidorah. He's literally just a pterodactyl.
Or
Okay.
pterodon.
Oh my goodness, that is a dope poster.
But
What
Yeah.
are we talking about?
I'm
So
done
anyways-
with
that
the
one,
movie,
yeah.
they take the egg back to the lab, and we learn about that there's children with telepathy, which was great. So
Now
the
wait,
first,
okay. Children with telepathy. Are they as creepy as the kids with telepathy from Akira?
No.
no,
They're
Okay.
just normal. They're
it's just
normal
funny.
kids. It's just
So-
it's so out of the blue.
The one character is a pterodon enthusiast.
Who's also wants to be Tom Cruise from Top Gun.
Yes. So he learns that there's this pterodon egg at the science facility, and he's the guy that made the flying. What did they call it?
I'll look it up.
Garuda.
That's
They
it.
called it. He made the flying thing that was supposed to fight Godzilla and failed miserably.
That was
But-
that was the first thing they show you in the movie after Godzilla's head.
Yes. So he gets over there. The egg hatches, and they find out that like through the children, there's a song that plays because he had this like fern. I get they say it was a fern?
It was a piece of grass
Some type
on the
of-
freaking thing.
Some type of fauna.
Flora.
They got some weed
I keep
from
screwing
the
that up.
Fanta, Fanta, don't you wanna Fanta?
I need to get that right.
It's some weed from the drug.
Yeah, it's a piece of leafy material.
The sticky of the icky, if you want to call
The
it.
sticky of the icky.
Of the icky.
And he takes it there, and they're like, oh, maybe the children know. So they put it down. They don't, like, give you any more than that. Just, maybe the children know. So they put it down, and they all put their hands next to it, and they're like, oh. And that's it. That's the scene.
They start singing.
That's how it ends.
So they record.
That's how the movie ends now.
Apparently it was making music.
That's the scene.
So they recorded the music with a tape, cassette tape.
Because it's
Played,
the early
'cause
90s.
it's in the early 90s. Played music, and as you hear the music, the egg hatches. And out
It
pops
glows red.
the most derpiest baby Godzilla that could ever have been created.
Oh, you talking about Godzuki?
No.
No.
It's baby
It's a Godzilla soar.
You can't get it confused because if you call it anything else, that's a lawsuit.
Really?
So they're like,
There's different baby Godzillas.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
And
This
this
one
one
is called Baby Godzilla.
That's so weird.
it was it was a Godzilla soar that was
That we keep calling Godzilla
that
Sword.
only ate plants. So they pick up a rose with no thorns and shove it down this thing's throat.
It eats plants. Jam.
Poor animal.
And it's great. So, the next thing that happens is finally Godzilla shows up. He's like, "Hey, that's my baby." So he proceeds to slowly march through the woods, the fields,
Doing his Godzilla thing.
to the electrical wires, which he has to break through. And then MechaGodzilla shows up. He's like, "Hey, you stop that."
AKA the robot from Power Rangers.
He's
It's the
literally
Dragon Zord from Power Rangers before they added color.
It was great.
Go,
So,
Power Rangers.
This thing starts whooping Godzilla's ass. I'm like, damn, it's putting a hurting on
And this
him.
is the first fight, right?
First fight.
Okay.
Second fight, technically. Because Rodan was first.
No, but I mean, like, this is his first fight with
Mechagodzilla.
Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
I'm, as you're explaining it to me.
Oh, this scene took
Yeah,
forever.
it
Lewis
is.
is looking at him coming out of the thing, and it took forever. There's a scientist in there. We'll get to him in a bit. But so he shoots Godzilla with these electric cables, and they're like, "We're gonna shock him." So they proceed to start shocking him, and then Godzilla like reverses the flow of electricity and like shorts out Mechagodzilla. So he gets up, walks over to him, and just pushes him over, and it continues his march.
Fight's over.
Fucking hilarious. As he's walking away, we made jokes about this rest of the movie because every time behind one of the monsters or Mechagodzilla, there's this plume of black smoke. So we were just like, "Oh, he farted." It literally looked like Mechagodzilla was like, "That's it.
It was so,
Gas is out. We're out of gas."
it was so random.
So then they pull
You didn't
out
say
the
about the absurd
tanks.
names of the attacks, Tyler.
Superman.
I don't really remember the name of them.
There's the
so
Mega
obnoxious.
Buster,
Megabuster.
which is he shoots a rainbow out of his mouth.
Who? Godzilla or
Mechagodzilla.
Mechagodzilla? Okay.
Only humans could come up with absurdity like this. Shoot the mines at him, but they're cables attached to these things.
So, then the tanks come out and the airplanes, and they're shooting them, and he's just like, "This is dumb. I'm gonna walk through this and smash everything," and proceeds to do so. So, he gets to the city finally, and the baby Godzilla they're like, "Oh, we should take him into the underground bunker under the building."
Baby Godzilla
The
that looks like he
So,
got hit in the head with a mallet.
Derpy Godzilla follows them into this basement. They're in the basement. They're like, "Oh, he's here." And then baby Godzilla's eyes start to glow red.
Uh-oh.
And you're like, "Oh man, he's gonna eat these people."
Vengeance.
Nope. It's a fear reaction. He's afraid. So every time he's afraid, his eyes glow red.
That's stupid. What is he about to evolve?
That's what I thought. I thought he was gonna get like bigger or something and just bust through this building.
Vengeance.
Nope. Nothing cool happened. He just was afraid. So then they start calling him Baby. And he's referred to as Baby and only Baby the rest
it's
of the
Baby
movie.
and Godzilla, whatever the heck it's called. Godzilla.
Soar.
Soar, yeah.
Baby Godzilla, sir.
Yes.
So
Why you cry, Baby Godzilla? You're a big boy.
they proceed to move him into a caged environment because that worked well in Jurassic Park. And the fence is like 4 feet tall.
Little kids can unlock this
Like
fence.
little kids don't need to unlock it; they can just walk through it.
Hey, Godzilla
So, like,
Soar.
Derpy Godzillasaur sticks his head up out of the nest that he's in. After like they deliver him there, he does like this weird like, "I'm gonna walk over here around this tree and come back. Look, I'm not a man in a rubber suit." It's fucking great. They're like, he's probably like, "What do I do? Just fucking walk around."
Tim.
Doof.
Tim. Pretend like you're an animal.
Be an animal. What are you?
Exact-
I am T-Rex.
That's exactly what it looks
I
like.
am giant lizard. I'm gecko, please. Am I chameleon? Stand back, please.
So
They're doing awful dialogue. Move.
yeah, so he does derpy Godzilla things. The children show up and they're like, "Hey, we did a song we think he would like." So they sing this
Is
song.
this the Psychic Kids?
Yes.
For some reason, we have tons of psychic kids that never get referenced.
Sing
They're
this
from
song.
the school of psychics, Ken.
And you would,
Are they
you're like,
X-Men?
oh, this is gonna sound like a children's choir.
Not to get sued.
This sounds like your 40-year-old church choir.
It's adults.
It's so ridiculous.
So
It's
they
all
went down
done.
to the local Baptist church and recorded their choir.
Yes. And Baby Godzilla gets angry and smacks the fence with his butt a bunch of times, and then gets mad and stomps off. So Rodan, who we thought was dead, because Godzilla stomped the shit out of him,
He did.
gets up and flies to the city. So at this point, he's on his way to the city. They're like, we need to use Baby Godzilla.
Because
We want to kill Big Godzilla.
It's believed that Godzilla and Rodan apparently
need each other.
got it on because they both have parenting instincts towards Baby Godzilla.
Uh-oh.
So it's never really described well as to why they both want Baby Godzilla when only one of them should have been the one that wanted that one.
So
Was Godzilla man?
we
or
devise a
female?
plan to put Baby Godzilla in harm's way, lure Godzilla out, revamp Mechagodzilla with Garuda, so now he can fly better and shoot better, and we'll end Godzilla
For some reason.
for some reason, and then do something with Baby Godzilla that's not really specified.
The Baby Godzilla was a lore.
Yeah, and I guess
And
they
they
were
just
just be
didn't
like,
care.
just leave him there.
Yeah.
So they took X-rays of Baby Godzilla and found that Godzilla and Baby Godzilla had two brains, one in their head and one in their butt.
They must think from ass, stupid baby.
That was a dinosaur thing where they would have brains, and then they would have these, not exactly brains, but like these really, really developed nerve clusters, like at the base of their tails. And the theory was that thing helped them understand or helped control the tails because they were so long.
So we're flying out with the helicopter. The caretaker for Baby Godzilla wanted to go with him, so he wasn't afraid because he got in the container after they leashed him like a dog. They put a collar with studs in it and this big ass leash, and they're like, "Come on!"
Mind you.
Drug him into this container. So she gets in so he doesn't get afraid because his eyes start glowing red.
Don't be scared.
And as they're flying out, Rodan's like, "I'm gonna kill this helicopter." Kills the helicopter. Mind you, they're falling from the sky.
Is it Baby Godzilla in the helicopter?
They're
Yes,
in the
so
container.
is the mama.
So is the caretaker. So they're in this container, free falling, with gravity inside the container because none of them are floating.
It's just a static shot of the container of them going, oh!
It's great. I'm like, they should have been floating in here.
That would have required them to actually
Do camera work?
well
Go rent out a
Commission.
0G chamber somewhere.
exactly commission make that happen.
Yeah. So Rodan picks it up, flies over to whatever baseball stadium was there, didn't like that one, went to another one, drops it off, and starts trying to open up the crate. In the meantime, Godzilla's on his way. They've sent out Mechagodzilla and Garuda, and they're on their way. They get there first. They're like, we gotta distract Rodan so he doesn't damage the container. First thing they do, what was it, Mega Buster?
Yeah.
They Mega Buster the container.
They shoot the
They
container with
shoot
the laser.
container.
Mega Buster.
I'm like, what?
I'm like, they're dead.
Well, so much for not shooting the container. So they start fighting Rodan. Rodan pecks out Mechagodzilla's eye, and then they Mega Buster and Super Laser and Belly Grenade Rodan,
Shoot fire hands!
and then he's laying on his back, oozing green liquid from his mouth.
Rodan's foaming.
Rodan had a rough day, so he's down. Godzilla shows up, and they turn Mechagodzilla around, and during the fight, the guy flying Garuda was shooting at Rodan. Rodan crashed him into a building, and now he's lost for a little bit. He's out of commission for a bit. So they're beating the shit out of Godzilla again. They shoot him in his butt brain and start electrocuting him, and he's like, "Man, this hurts!" And then they push a button, and his butt brain explodes.
Butt brain blows up.
Oh no! Does he become dumber?
Then he falls to that controls the bottom half of Godzilla.
Yeah, so now he's paralyzed.
So now Godzilla falls over because Godzilla can't use his legs.
I can't feel my legs. Don't come.
Aside from the other times
Ricky
that
Bobby.
Godzilla falls over. Side note, one of my favorite things of watching Godzilla movies is when Godzilla falls the fuck down. Because his arms just go, his legs are going, and it's the whole, I'm falling, I can't get up. So, now he's in deep shit. They're beating the shit out of him. They've gotten Garuda back up. He's done the whole like Megazord transformation attached to the back thing. The best part of that is he attached to the back. The cannons went down, so he looked really cool for a second because he had these cannons over his shoulder. I'm like, yeah, this looks like an awesome Mechagodzilla. And then they immediately went right back up. And I'm like,
What is the point of this?
backpack cannons denied.
What is the point of these cannons?
And then they start shooting them,
Optimus Prime.
and the backpack cannons come back down. So, they've now blown up the brain. The dude flying the Garuda's like, I gotta go save my girlfriend. And runs over to her and starts beating on the crate and asks
No, we
if
don't
she's
know
fine.
if that's a girlfriend because there's another girl in this movie. I think they're in a very love triangle relationship where they all love each other.
I thought it was his sister,
I don't think so.
but who knows? So, they're now there, and Rodan wakes up. I'm like, oh, Rodan's alive.
Rodan wakes up too.
Somehow he's magically alive. And he does the Mothra thing. He flies over, lands on Godzilla, and gives him his life.
To heal.
To heal him.
It heals his brain and
His
his
butt
ass.
brain is now back. So Godzilla's had enough. Godzilla gets up, proceeds to beat the shit out of Mechagodzilla. He picks him up. They want you to think you don't see the cables, but you do. And I thought something awesome was going to happen, and it didn't. He's got Mechagodzilla by the shoulder and the head, and it looks like he's about to suplex him. He just picks him up and throws him back down. And I was disappointed. So now he's stomping the shit out of Mechagodzilla. Mechagodzilla's getting destroyed. There's nothing they can do about it. And they decide the only way to get Godzilla to stop his rampage is to leave the baby Godzilla behind for him to pick up and leave with. Which could have been done at the beginning of the movie.
Which I don't know why we didn't do that.
So,
Then they're all like, oh, Godzilla's the best.
yeah, they're all like, oh, we love Godzilla, he's awesome.
I'm like, you made a monster. You're the reason all this happened.
They're just
It was
toxic
great.
girlfriends. Is what they are.
So, favorite line from this movie is the one scientist, definitely who could not act, was probably the only non-voiced over person. They're pointing at Mechagodzilla after he got destroyed, and his line is, well, if we reattach this here, cut. It gets better. Cut. As I was saying, if we do this, cut. And that's his line.
That's it.
Like they purposely cut the scene
Yes.
because it was that bad.
No, it's just
That's just
it's
terribly
how the
cut.
line worked. It just is how it all flowed.
It's how his
He's
delivery
literally
went.
talking, and then it cuts to something absurd, and then it cuts back to him, and he's still talking about nothing and pointing at nothing, and then he does. Then all of a sudden, it just cuts away from that guy again.
That's funny.
So probably
Okay.
one thing I didn't like about this movie is I'm not a fan of.
Uh-oh.
Your
Time
time
is
is
up.
I'm
I
not-
see. No more. Shut up. Wait.
No, just give me a few
No,
more
no,
seconds.
you
I
can't
need a
go.
few more seconds.
Yeah, I'll
No,
give you
that's
a few
not
more
I
fair.
need a few more seconds.
That is unfair.
Auditor, please.
Few more seconds.
Moderator,
Let's go.
please.
How many is a few?
10 seconds.
Okay, go.
So I don't like dub because the voiceover acting is always terrible.
The dub in this movie is bad. Since now it is time to answer questions about the Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. Godzilla vs. Godzilla 2. I apologize, everybody.
The first one's way better.
It is insanely fun how goofy this movie is.
It's. I was sad that I rented the wrong movie at first, and as I watched this thing the first time, I was like, I'm not that sad. This is ridiculous. This is hilarious.
It's fun.
This is a fun little jaunt.
How much did it cost to make this movie?
Ask these questions.
Well, you said ask about the question.
I am, but I don't have it up.
How is that my fault? Also, like, does it seem when I watch these movies and these old ones, it
Budget.
seems like Godzilla knows kung fu.
9.5.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not bad.
Maybe he does. Maybe he's
what now?
studied in the ancient art of kung fu.
Godzilla, like, he seems like he wins for bullshit reasons. You know what I mean?
Well, he's the hero of the movies.
But also, like, it seems like sometimes he knows random kung fu. Like, I just saw videos of Godzilla, like, other monsters jumping at him and him just doing, like, a quick chucking. He's just like, whoop.
Well, he is a dude in a rubber suit.
Well, the thing is, though, because it's like watching some of these, it's like this Godzilla actually has very usable arms. Seeing other Godzillas, I was like, what do these little tiny T-Rex arms do?
Yes.
It's
Else?
Mechagodzilla really does look like the Power Ranger thing.
Yeah, I saw. That looks awesome. It looks like
I was
a
like,
Megazord.
It's 100% the Dragon Zord from Power Rangers the first season.
Let me see.
And Baby Godzilla looks like he was just beaten in the head when he ran.
Yeah, like
It's like supposed to be this epic moment, and they're like, "Oh!"
And then
it's
you
a Baby
see
Godzilla that comes out, and it's like, "Brrr!"
it is. Like you're like, oh man, I can't wait to see what this thing looks like, and you're like, oh god, his eyeballs are too big for that suit.
Yo, Mechagodzilla's close.
It is.
It's
real
really close. Oh my
It's
god.
frighteningly close because I was watching it. I'm like,
You
I'm
think-
100% sure this is a prototype for that.
You think it's like paying homage?
It absolutely. Well, yeah, because that. The only reason that TV show exists is because
Kaiju stuff.
this stuff is as popular.
That's why
as
they
it
get
is,
big
yeah.
and they fight robots.
Oh, okay. So like, there's a lot of like, I guess Godzilla's like the grandfather of a lot of.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I can see why there's so much love, and okay, that makes me understand it a little bit better of like why.
Without Godzilla, the big old monster movie genre just does not exist.
So Godzilla was the first to do this.
Yes.
Wow.
In theory, it's a big monster that gets nudified and attacks things. It's not probably the first one to be done,
Exist, but
it's the
easily
biggest
the
one.
most
Okay.
popular.
Like there's probably movies back in the 50s where it's like
did that.
the irradiated ant, and they just
Yeah.
film an ant that's like
Yeah.
walking in a designed town, and it might be that, but it's nothing of this magnitude where they were like, okay, let's make a miniature town and put a guy in a suit that just knocks down buildings.
And another question:
Yes.
do you think that humans did this to these creatures to make them that big?
That is the point. That was told in the first Godzilla movie.
That it
Yeah.
was like through
Is that it's nuclear testing
Yeah,
that it says that.
Godzilla is a metaphor for the atomic experimentation, nuclear testing, run amok.
Oh, okay.
In the first Godzilla, they say it's from the nuclear bombs that we dropped that
Oh,
caused Godzilla.
so essentially America has caused Gojira.
Yes. That's why in Shin Godzilla they help. The U.S. helps at points.
Because they feel partly responsible.
But they also...
No.
No, they don't. They just help in general. But they are mostly...
They want to be the popular ones.
Yeah.
They want to be the saviors. That's why the U.S. is involved in Shin Godzilla.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
Me.
Okay, boy, yeah, please.
Okay, so Elijah.
We go...
Wait, Shin Godzilla came out after,
Shin
Oh,
Godzilla,
yeah, it did.
Shin Godzilla came
Yeah.
out 2016.
2016, buddy.
and
Yeah.
it looks that bad.
No, it looks
Yeah, it
good.
does.
I like the way it looks.
It's Ken and then Lewis's Godzilla
Oh my
movie.
god.
So,
Oh God.
Elijah's movie was Godzilla, 1998.
Yep. Good old Roland Emmerich, Matthew Broderick picture. Oh boy. This movie is nostalgia on top of nostalgia.
A
on top
giant
more
reptilian monster surfaces, leaving destruction in its wake as it strides into New York City. To stop it, an earthworm scientist, his reporter
Earthworm
ex-girlfriend,
fucking
and other
scientist.
unlikely heroes team up to save their city.
2 people from The Simpsons come to save the city.
Who?
Hank
Ned
Azaria.
Flanders?
Hank Azaria is the cameraman, and Harry Shearer is the dickhead
Reporter.
news anchor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And if you don't know who Hank Azaria is, he's Mo. And
Hank Azaria, Chief Wiggums,
he's a whole
He does
ton
a lot
of
of
whole
voices.
bunch of voices.
And
So
when
like him and Harry Shearer, a ton of voices. Harry Shearer is mainly known for Ned Flanders. So it's a cast of people that I never would have put in an action movie, except for Gene Reno, who's the only one who I was like, he's an action movie star. The rest of these people, no. But Matthew Broderick, it starts off with one of my favorite sequences, which is a Japanese boat gets attacked by Godzilla in the sea, and there's only one survivor, and Gene Reno goes to visit him and says a famous line that I just do every now and then for no good reason, which is, who attacked the boat? Gojira! Gojira! And then that's my line in the movie. And then we pick up Dr. Nick I'm going to be like the people
Nico
Tatopoulos, and who is a scientist studying earthworms in Chernobyl to see, because they, due to radiation, have evolved and changed. So then they take him, and he is shown a giant footprint, and then we get transported to New York, where
the Big Apple.
yes, the Big Apple. Where's
the footprint?
the footprint's on some southern island, I forget where.
In the South Pacific
Yeah,
somewhere?
I think it's the South Pacific.
Okay, that's fine. I was just curious.
It was unspecific, I feel like,
It was unspecific in
in
the
my
Pacific.
brain. Yeah. Unspecific in the Pacific.
See what he did there?
I know.
Landlord.
I see him. I see him over there, and his baby Godzillas. My baby Godzillas were cooler.
Okay.
Yeah, they were.
I love my baby Godzillas.
These ones are actually fierce.
So Godzilla comes and starts attacking New York City for some unknown reason. At the point, it starts gathering fish, which is the main thing that we see through the first half of the movie, is Godzilla gathering fish.
Godzilla hungry.
Godzilla is saving food, which comes in handy later.
Godzilla hungry.
And Matthew Broderick never reaches a level in this movie above like 5 of his worry. Like they're planning an attack on Godzilla, and he's like, you need to give it what it wants, and what it wants is something to eat. So they get all the fish and they put it in the middle, and then he's like standing right below Godzilla just taking Polaroid pictures, which was a great thing to go back to the 90s, and you just see in the middle of Times Square there's a vending machine that dispenses disposable cameras. I was like, oh man, the disposable camera vending machine, they're gone. And phone booths.
10 phone booths.
There's a ton of phone booths in this movie. I was like, this movie does not exist anymore, because like some of the plot threads don't work without a phone booth, because Gene Reno is hiding in phone booths calling random people, because you don't know why Gene Reno is there, but he's spying, so he could be a bad guy or a good guy, but he's French, that's all we know. And so Godzilla's there, and he gets the fish, and then he runs away, defeats 3 helicopters.
Yeah, because they start
does?
shooting them with like rockets and shit.
Or I should say Zilla does?
Yeah. They, with rocket, they start shooting Godzilla with rockets, yeah. Well, because they want to kill it.
Fuck this thing.
And Dr. Nick Tatopoulos is still there taking pictures underneath.
And they're just like, pew, pew, pew,
and they're like, goodbye! And then it runs away. And the only thing that really is interesting in this movie is how quick Godzilla can, like, dig and hide. It is a big city. New York is a big city, don't get me wrong. But Godzilla is...
Godzilla.
He is still the size of a 20-story building.
Yeah.
So is he bigger than the World Trade Center?
I don't
No,
think so.
Not bigger than.
World Trade Center was like 60-something stories, I think.
I thought there was higher than that. Was it like
I don't
8?
know.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'll save the questions for the end. I'm sorry.
Well, that's a question I won't be able to answer. So, Godzilla makes holes in through buildings and tunnels through the earth.
It's great.
It's so fast.
It's terribly.
And I'm like, huh, he's quick because he's able to avoid helicopters. So I'm like, huh. I get why we can't use sensors on him because he's too cold. That makes sense to me because he's a lizard. The logic of it is there. I can get behind it. They at least
Doesn't necessarily make sense.
It doesn't necessarily work, but they at least tried.
Oh, we can't calibrate our system, our heat vision right to be able to pick up Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't really hold water, but okay, fine.
So he then reaches through and kills 3 helicopters through a building by tricking them by making a hole in one building and then I guess running behind other buildings.
Oh, you can't see me.
And then kills the 3 helicopters. And I'm like, and then he escaped again. So now Nick Totopoulos, because they shot him, he gathers some blood, and then in a smart move, I guess because he knows stuff, goes and buys pregnancy tests from a still open store. From
Rain
somewhere.
or shine or Godzilla, we are open. Come in.
He doesn't just buy one.
He buys all of them. He buys each of them.
All of them.
Because the lady doesn't know what he's talking about, because he's like, here's all these things I need, and the lady's like, here's all the pregnancy tests we have. And then his girlfriend walks in, who is a non-reporter who's being harassed by
She's an aspiring reporter.
She's an aspiring reporter that's being harassed by Charles Tallman, dickhead from dickhead Ned Flanders from the Simpsons.
Ned Flanders.
And she wants a story. So she's like, "Oh, I used to date him in college. He even asked me to marry him, and I said no, because we have to introduce this romantic angle in this Godzilla movie."
Because why? Didn't need it, but we did it.
We did need it, Tyler. Because in a shocking turn of events, that woman's pretty in this movie. I can't think of another movie that she was in that I was like, oh, she's pretty.
Pretty ugly.
Audrey?
Yeah. So then she steals a tape from Nick, and Nick finds out that Godzilla was pregnant. And I'm like, oh boy. That's where we're going to get into Mechagodzilla 2 territory here.
Oh no.
So apparently there's babies somewhere in this movie. And he thinks there's a nest. And all the military's like, no, there's no proof there's a nest. There's only one Godzilla. And another great line from that movie is, it produces asexually. Where's the fun in that? Wait, I don't get it. If he's the first of his kind, how can he be pregnant? Doesn't he need a mate? Not if he reproduces asexually. Where's the fun in that?
Where is fun?
Because in Godzilla movies, we have the gags. So, because we have Matthew Broderick in it, who is a comedian.
And an action star.
And apparently an action star. And she steals the tape, and then her story gets stolen by the dickhead reporter. And then Matthew Broderick gets fired from the task force, and then we get another action set piece where they try and capture Godzilla again using the same trick that Nick had with the fish.
This time Godzilla's cautious.
This time Godzilla, because they try and do it in Central Park where there's no buildings. They're like, we're now going to use our brains and put it in the middle of Central Park. I was like, that's smart. And so all the military's there with their guns aiming. They're like, wait until he gets away from the buildings. And then Godzilla runs away because he could see a trap. And then they're chasing. Now there's more than 3 helicopters this time. There's more than I could count helicopters this time. Chasing Godzilla.
Helicopters are a frequent anti-Godzilla weapon, apparently.
Yes, they are. They're quick. They shoot missiles and they shoot artillery. Is that the word I want to use?
Bullets?
Yeah, bullets. That's the word I want to use. And so I believe they're better than the tanks. which just are like, beep, beep, beep. They sometimes don't shoot.
I've never heard a tank go beep, beep, beep.
It's a Godzilla toy movie. It's like the old school Godzilla movies where like they wheel up. And,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. See? Lewis knows what I'm talking about, Tyler. You don't need to know what I'm talking about. And then Godzilla dives in the water to escape, and then the Navy's there to save the day with their subs. Couple subs crash. And then one sub gets off some missiles. And then Godzilla latches onto the side of the building and starts his dig thing. And then they get Godzilla. Then they get Godzilla and they think they've killed Godzilla. And everyone's like, yay! And the New Yorkers are like, send us back to the city! And then Matthew Broderick's trying to leave the city. And then Jean Reno picks him up and believes him about the babies,
nest.
About the nest and the babies. So he, who we find out is a French spy. For some reason, they're the French here, because I believe the French think they created it, so they want to help clean it up. I believe that's how it went.
I don't remember.
If memory serves me, I believe that, because this happened during when my water was breaking in my house. So it was, I believe the French were there because they did the testing in the South Pacific where Godzilla was created. So they are blaming themselves. So they want to help. And then Audrey and Animal, the cameraman, decide to follow them to help find the nest. So they're off on their own little adventure to make Nick look better. And then we go to where they found Godzilla in the subway, and they follow the tunnel, which leads to Madison Square Garden. And we find out that there's not one, not two, but about 200 or something eggs in that building. I believe because we just watched that part.
How did they not feel the city shaking? You know what I mean? Or was it
eggs?
The eggs.
What? Well, doesn't he feel like? Don't you think like?
There'd be tremors from him burrowing.
Yeah.
Oh, like the.
You know what I mean?
Like the city would feel that.
Yeah.
They might have, but it's one of those things where they emptied out the city, and I don't live in New York, so I don't know this. I don't know the generic like feel of the city to be like, oh, this is just normal how this stuff would go.
I feel like with that big of a shake, though, you know what I mean? Like any sort of shake. I know the city's loud. That's just me. Yeah. So.
It's one of those things where it's a plot hole.
Yeah.
But it's a Roland Emmerich movie, so they're full of plot holes because his main thing is to make an action movie.
Very true.
So Nick and the French are there, and they want to destroy the eggs, so they start placing bombs, and then they start to hatch, and they smell like fish, which is the reason why they get attacked.
Who smell? Oh,
all the people smell like fish because they've been walking in this tunnel, which has all the fish in it.
Fuji.
Yeah, it's got all the fish in it.
Yeah, so that's why the baby Godzillas are attacking everybody because they smell like fish. Because the first thing they get is because Madison Square Garden is now full of the fish that Godzilla was getting and putting in there. And then 3 of the French officers get killed, which only leave Jean Reno, Matthew Broderick, the cameraman Animal, and Audrey. And Audrey comes up with a plan to go to the Rangers booth and broadcast live what's happening so that people actually believe Nick. And they can get somebody to destroy Madison Square Garden.
Firebomb it! Firebomb it!
Kill it with fire!
You can rebuild it into Madison Cube Garden.
That's how Futurama starts.
Right.
Oh, Attack of Gojira.
Because of Gojira. So they get it all. They get all the information, and then the military gets the message, and they send missiles. They're sending missiles that way to blow it up, and so they now have like 5 minutes to get out of the building. And Jean Reno decides that he's going to military up this time. And he starts just doing military things all around the thing. He's just like, let's go. And then actually is the action movie star that we were all looking for. And scrolls and scales out the windows, and then they get to a room where they're trying to get out the front doors, which the Godzillas have yet to go out the front door, which is shocking. So they find out that all the fish are eaten too, and he shoots down some light structures that Madison Square Garden has, and they land in front, and then they start sprinting. He keeps shooting at the light structures, and they keep falling. Then they get out, and Gene Reno puts his gun there to block the Godzillas from getting out.
The glass doors.
They're glass doors. and then the firebombing happens at Madison Square Garden, and then you get the end moment where Audrey and Nick are like, "I love you. Let's get back together." And you're like, "Oh, the end of the movie's happening." Aw. And then up comes your friendly neighborhood Godzilla from the ground, and then sees a dead baby Godzilla, looks at it, gets sad and nudges it with its finger, and it's dead, and then looks right at the four guys, and somehow processes vengeance. And then there's a big chase scene in a taxi all through New York with Godzilla. And so Godzilla's chasing the cab all through New York, and they come up with, and Nick comes up with a plan to capture Godzilla. So he gives the taxi information to the head military officer, who then gets it, and they come up with a plan to get him tangled in the Brooklyn Bridge. So,
yes, the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yes, so they get him to the Brooklyn Bridge. They shoot down the pillars of the Brooklyn Bridge. It captures Godzilla that way, and then they start shooting him with all the ammo, and Godzilla is dead. And then Celebration.
It's the only time I've ever seen Godzilla dead.
Nope, Godzilla dies in a Toho one too. I have that one. Also, he dies of his own radiation power.
It's too hot.
He keeps getting more irradiated, and then eventually does pretty much what happens in
Explodes.
Another one, and explodes, but this time turns into radioactive ash and just kind of falls down. So that is the Roland Emmerich Godzilla movie. With my last couple minutes, will explain why I love this movie so much. When I first was able to go to movies alone, I went to the cheap theaters in Texas, and I could only watch what was there, and it was a cheap $5 theater, so it was whatever was there for back second run place.
Yeah.
I watched this Godzilla movie. I can't tell you how many times at that $5 theater with I took everybody to see this Godzilla movie.
Check this movie out.
It was my movie of 1998. It was there. I would go watch it. It made me so happy, and it just brings back such memories of just action movie nostalgia. I never was bored. I sat here this time and I was like, I don't know how I liked this as a kid. There's random moments where there's no action or talking, and there's just a bunch of talking. I was like, how did I like this? And I just can't process it, but I do, and I love it still. I watch it now and I'm like, I love this movie for no reason. It's great. Matthew Broderick has no reason to be in an action movie. I own a Taco Bell thing that I was going to try and have here, but it's too much buried and too much happened. I can dig it up. I had cups for this movie. It was product in my house heavily, and
oh man, I remember Pizza Hut back in the day when they had things. They had this little egg you could get with
Yokiro. I had that too. Yokiro Taco Bell, the Taco Bell commercials with the Godzilla. It's the Chihuahua and Godzilla. And
oh my god.
It just brings up so many fond memories that. And then I just found out this year that two people from The Simpsons were in it, so I was like, this might be why I love this hiddenly. Because I love The Simpsons. So, it's goofy, I understand that, and most people don't like it, but I can't help but love this movie. There's no room in my brain to be like, this movie's awful. No, this movie's great. A worm scientist helps destroy Godzilla. Astounding. And I believe that is my time.
Nice.
Cancel.
Down to the dot.
Yep.
Any questions for Elijah?
Anything from Godzilla 1998?
Was it Matthew Broderick? Was he pretty ripped?
No, it's raining 90% of that movie, so everyone's bundled up.
Lady Hawk. Although he plays the rogue in that, he's not really the action star. Glory.
Oh yeah, that's a war movie.
It's a war movie, but he's the officer.
I'll give you War Games.
Who never
Too.
War Games, which is also not really an action movie.
Yeah, but I'll give you War Games on top of that. The Road to Wellville.
The Lion King.
He's Simba.
He's Simba. He fights.
But that's not really
Scar.
him fighting, though.
Yeah, the rest, like none of the
Inspector
rest of
Gadget in 1999.
Oh, that's right.
I forgot that Inspector
God.
Gadget.
Does that count as an action movie?
Yeah,
Oh,
it
good.
sort of
No,
does.
it does not.
It does. There's
No, it
action
does.
sequences
Oh
in
my
it.
god. Go, Gadget. Fuck yourself.
Go, Gadget, fuck yourself.
I'm gonna extend my arm outwards and jump me from the back. But you can't do that.
But yes, I personally love that movie.
Reach around.
So, anything else before we move on to Ken?
No, we're gonna discuss robot punches and stuff.
Yeah,
then, and I'll
robot
tell you
punches
why your
happen
movie's a piece of shit.
I'll tell you why I'm gonna kick you under the table. Ken, I believe you're up.
Okay.
I'll start when you tell me to.
Oh, this is the best. Oh, okay, go ahead. To give myself treatment. This is Shin Godzilla from 2016. Japan is plunged into chaos upon the appearance of a giant monster.
So, generic
Wait,
Godzilla.
that's
movie.
it?
Yeah,
That's it. I love it. The funny thing, I mean, this would be better if it said Japan bureaucracy. Japanese politicians are plunged into chaos upon the.
It's how bureaucracy defeats Godzilla.
The interesting thing about this movie, well, see, okay, to give you the brief Cliff Notes version of this movie, Godzilla shows up, but it's not Godzilla, it's walking on all fours.
It looks like a ferret.
It's very strange design.
I thought it was a monster that Godzilla fights.
There's the framing. There's a strange seismic event that's affecting the city. It's not Tokyo yet. It's a city outside of Tokyo. The government's looking into it because this movie is primarily focuses on a group of bureaucrats who have some unconventional ideas and ultimately are able to defeat Godzilla. But that's where I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. But the whole point, like, what this movie is it's a political thriller disguised. It's a Godzilla movie. It's either a Godzilla movie disguised as a political thriller or a political thriller disguised as a Godzilla movie. I'm not sure which.
I'd go with the second one, I think.
Yes, it's a Godzilla movie disguised as a political thriller.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Okay.
Because it advertises Godzilla in the front of it, so you're going in there thinking you're getting
You're
Godzilla.
expecting a Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
So then no, it's a political thriller disguised as a Godzilla movie.
Yes, then that's the one.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got that sorted.
It's astounding.
It is. But there's some back and forth. But and early on, like they have a meeting. They're in a meeting, but they decide to have a meeting, so they move to the main conference room.
They have to plan a meeting.
For a meeting.
It's so wacky. Like,
mind you, there's a monster attacking.
and then at one point they adjourn the meeting.
Did they get lunch?
To have a smaller meeting in the Prime Minister's office.
Man, they're all about the meetings.
It's so
well, you know,
weird.
the business first, man. That's how do you think Japan got to where it got?
And at one point, the helicopters are there, poised, guns trained on Godzilla, ready to let loose. But then there's a train full of civilians that they didn't know was going to be there, and that shows up, and the radio comes back, and you follow the helicopter pilot radios their commanding officer, and their commanding officer radios the next guy, and then it gets to the conference room, and the conference room gets asked, should we fire? And then the people who are like the head of the military, because it's a cabinet meeting, so it's a cabinet meeting in domestic parlance. It's a meeting of the various ministers of various things, because that's how they do things in Japan.
Agriculture.
So it's the essentially the like I said, he's essentially the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the lady who's the head of the military ministry is sitting in the room, and she asks the Prime Minister, "What should we do?" And it's wacky. It's just bizarre.
It's so fun.
What do we do?
And there's this, and in these meetings, there's this young. I'm not exactly sure if he's a minister or if he's like an assistant to the minister.
He wants to be a minister.
He wants to be the Prime Minister. He's like, yeah, I'm going to be Prime Minister in 10 years. That's what I'm going to do.
But he sees all the flaws in this plan, like this project.
He's the smart one. He's the one that says,
like, shoot it.
He's the one that says it's a creature that's causing this. It's not some seismic event. It's not some ruptured pipeline or a volcano or a submarine. It's none of that. It's a creature. It could be caused by a massive creature. How he knows this, where he gets this information from, is unclear. It doesn't matter. But he's the hero of this piece. He's the guy that doesn't necessarily make everything happen, but
Comes up with it.
He's the guy that's in charge of the ragtag team of, and he's the leader of the team. He's like, I don't care about positions. I don't care about protocol. We're here because we're Mavericks. We're here because we go off book. I need ideas. I need ideas now. What can we do? What can we come up with? Let's make this happen. It's going to be great. We're going to save the world. And it's interesting that he does prove to be a better leader than he expects himself to be able to do. Like, he doesn't think very much of himself, but over the course of the movie we see him be the leader that he doesn't really think that he is, that he doesn't expect him to be able to be. And that's interesting, or that's an interesting arc. But yeah, the dog lizard face and the bug eyes is creepy as it's crawling across the city.
Terrifying.
A random collection of peons are just lamenting the bureaucracy. Red tape is the foundation for democracy, one of them says.
Love it.
Yeah, it was like, all right.
Mind you, there's a monster attacking.
Yes.
What's going on outside? Gojira.
Oh, look at that.
So they're able to evacuate an incredible number of people in an incredibly short amount of time. It's shocking.
I love when the boats pop up and none of the boats hit people. They're like, the death toll's only about 100.
Yeah, it's shocking how well they're able to like manage the people side of this. Like the buildings get destroyed left, right, and center. There's nothing they can do about that. But they go out of their way to explain that, oh yeah, everybody's been evacuated. We can go ahead and blow shit up. But there's lots of, as I've alluded to, there's lots of sitting in like politicians sitting around talking about what they should do. What should we do? What do we do? Prime Minister, you need to make a decision. It's
what did the eco people think?
It's just.
What about the animal rights activists? It's amazing the levels of bureaucracy that's in this. They bring in animal experts, and there's 3 dudes. Like, we brought in these 3 animal experts as fast as we could, and they're like, well, it seems kind of a lizard-like in quality. It's kind of aquatic. Yeah, it shouldn't be able to stand on its own weight. Because
after a while, it's crawling across the city. It crawls across the city, and then it disappears. Mm-hmm. They're like, where did it go? And like, it literally disappears. It's there 1 minute and gone. They're like, where did it go? And so they start searching for it, and some more groundwork is laid, and they decide to protect the region that generates 40% of the nation's GDP first and most.
They make the best money, man.
Surprise, surprise. Yeah, let's
the rich
protect. Well, no, let's protect our national infrastructure. Like, this makes sense to me. This is not a poor choice. From a
Shin Godzilla looks awesome. It's fucking terrifying.
It's freaking disturbing.
Like,
he doesn't blink.
He fucking, like, this thing causes terror other than any other fucking Godzilla.
Especially when it's like on the ground and blood's coming out from the sides of its like neck flaps.
Yeah, that's at the very beginning when it has gills. Yeah. So they find a way to track Godzilla through radiation, and then this Japanese American lady shows up, who's also a daughter of a senator. She shows up and is sort of the liaison between the American government and this plucky group of Japanese scientist maverick info people. There's a guy who found it, who the girl is looking for, and he called it Godzilla or Gojira. So they proceed because he was shamed into leaving Japan for the United States. Oh, Jesus. So in English it's Godzilla, in Japanese it's Gojira. Essentially, I mean that's a whole hyper ultra simplification, but that's kind of what it boils down to. And as it turns out, the creature is a result of dumping radioactive waste.
Tyler's turds.
Taco night, man.
Taco Tuesday.
Taco night. It's all those Taco Bells from the advertising from the 1998 Godzilla.
They've come back to haunt me.
These taco fries are not good for the bells.
So
fire.
the creature eventually comes back, and it evolves again into a more conventional looking Godzilla, but it's still not the classic. It's not exactly the classic Godzilla. It's taller, it's leaner, or it's not taller, it's leaner, and it's red. It's got these red accents. It looks like...
And a funny mouth.
But it's still not blinking, right?
No.
Well, at that point, its eyes get really small, and it's got these really heavy eyebrow ridges, so it's hard to tell what's going on.
For dry eye, try clear eyes. Imagine that thing coming out of that guy for that commercial.
Also, the plucky group has come up with this way to freeze the creature because it overheats. That's why it ran off in the first place. It had to cool off. So they think, oh well, if we can slow its blood down, it'll overheat. Or no, it won't overheat. Because it can't cool itself, it'll have to shut down.
Is that before it shoots out all the radiation?
Yes.
Okay.
because I
didn't think that happened before the radiation shooting.
Yeah, no, because the attack, they finally get the chance to attack it. They shoot miniguns at it. That doesn't work. 30mm cannon doesn't work. Missiles from the choppers don't really work. The tank artillery fire, that slows it down. The long range rockets stop it, and then the bombs that the Americans drop on it, the bunker buster bombs, those hurt it.
Those pissed it off.
But somehow the creature makes it to Tokyo. People are being sent underground. The Prime Minister, like the building that all the government shenanigans are happening in is in the path of Godzilla, so they evacuate, and as they're evacuating, Godzilla does this, not because but the attack is also happening, and so Godzilla does this cool, like, multi-laser beam out of its fins, out of its back spike things. It's really neat. It's a really neat thing.
And it blows like smoke, and then it lights all the smoke on fire. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. And it does that and destroys the planes and a bunch of buildings, and in so doing, it destroys this helicopter that is transporting a bunch of senior government officials.
It was like the
Goodbye,
it was like the first 30, wasn't it? Because the next one is the agricultural director. It becomes the PM.
It killed off the top two people, the prime minister and the I forget what they call him, the senior minister, the senior deputy minister, something like that. He gets killed off.
Because I remember bringing up a chart, and it just had a bunch of people on it, and I was like, what?
Yeah, and so they do a straw poll, and the agriculture secretary, or the agriculture minister is made prime minister.
He's great. He's my favorite character in this movie.
So
my noodles are cold.
The moral of the story, or I should say, long story short, the U.S. is given permission by the UN, is given permission to nuke this Godzilla creature because it's the only thing that'll stop it. Because, if we light it on, if we burn it in the intense heat of a nuclear bomb, that has to evaporate it. But they're gonna drop a nuke on Tokyo, is what this involves. So they're magically able to get all 3.6 million people out of the city.
Japanese are efficient, buddy.
Apparently so. I don't know where they went, but
Origami.
They moved all 3.6 million
everywhere.
people out of the city. But they loop the American lady in, and she is able to she's like in a plane with the president, and the president calls off, but says, okay, we'll wait, we'll let you try your thing so we don't have to nuke your city. So they're because
he hasn't moved, because Godzilla hasn't moved.
Right, because they learned that all the laser beaming really takes it out of him, and he stops to
he's not the Energizer Bunny.
He goes dormant. But yeah, so they are able to ultimately they're able to deploy their plan to freeze Godzilla, and they are successfully able to freeze Godzilla. And then there's some nice post-script talk about the American girl becoming president and our plucky young upstart becoming prime minister, and she's like, it'd be nice to be able to work with you again. We should keep this going.
Romance in the time of Godzilla.
Yeah, it's not as there's.
No, it's not laid on heavy like the others.
It seems like that's where they're going with it, but they don't ever really actually go there. But yeah, so there's this frozen Godzilla statue in the middle of the city that is like, so how long is this gonna stay here? Like, what are we? Like, it's not like it's a band-aid. Like, this is not a permanent solution. Like, we didn't kill it.
Get off the slide. Whee! Stop chipping away at it.
Get down here, Timmy.
Right now, Timmy.
So, like, what this movie is it's a movie about not necessarily this plucky group of smart people who come up with a clever solution to save the day. The problem is the plucky group of smart people, we only really get to know one of them, the leader. And so, like, it just, like, nothing is developed well enough. I shouldn't say nothing is developed well enough. The balance is all off. There's too much bureaucratic talk and not enough, like, hey, let's get to know the personality of some of these smart people who are in this room and get involved in the creative process. Let's have how I feel this, like, there's a potentially good movie here insofar as, and I'm sure it's been done, where, because I think there's an element of it in the first Transformers movie.
Robots in Disguise?
Yeah. No. The Michael Bay one. The Michael Bay one. Where you have this...
gave Tyler a thought.
this group of people who are really smart, and they fix the problem. The problem is Godzilla is too big a problem.
Boom, baby!
Okay. If I'm done, I'm done.
He can put it in the... He can put the rest of it in the robot punches.
I'll put it in robot punches.
My only thing with this movie was I really wanted to know if... I don't think the nukes would have stopped it. I think the nukes would have made it stronger. Because if it's made of if it's like every other Godzilla movie, if nuclear material would have just made it better.
Did this Godzilla have a brain in its butt?
No.
They don't go into it.
We're too much into bureaucracy.
They had brains in their butts.
They were arguing.
It's astounding.
The intense heat of the nuclear blast would evaporate.
Well, I mean,
I just heard that and I was like,
but but you got to think about it. They already got nuked twice.
Japan.
You know what I'm saying?
And the second one really shouldn't have happened.
But you know what I'm saying? So it seems like they're like, yo, do we nuke this place?
Do we get nuked 3 times?
They're like, because
that's pretty much the whole Japan at this point.
Shame on you. Fool me twice. Shame on me. Fool me 3 times, you can't get fooled again.
Fool me 3 times, bye-bye Japan.
So I can see why they would want to drop the nuke. Makes a lot of sense.
Now thinking about it, that would be the 3rd nuke the U.S. would have dropped on Japan.
That's what I'm saying. It would have.
But this time they did it with permission. Actually,
with love.
They did it actually. Actually, it would have been under obligation from the UN.
Yeah.
The UN was making them do it.
Yeah. But still, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Japan is like, yo, guys, come on. We can't just be the only country getting nuked.
Come on.
Really, nukes? Is this the only thing we got?
We haven't. There's other countries over there.
Can we shove anything up its rectum?
Come on.
Rectum darn near killed him.
Oh, my.
So, Luis?
Okay.
Do you want Ken to read the plot synopsis?
I will tell everybody that I watched Godzilla, King of Monsters, made in 2009, and Ken, for the synopsis,
2019.
please. Oh, sorry, 2019.
The cryptozoological agency Monarch faces off against a battery of god-sized monsters, including the mighty Godzilla, who collides with Mothra, Rodan, and his ultimate nemesis, the 3-headed King Ghidorah.
Okay. So, from what I get, is this movie a sequel from the first Godzilla movie?
Yes.
From the recent Godzilla movie that
Yes.
came out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the movie starts with a flashback of that Godzilla fucking shit up. And then the main characters, who are
Ken Watanabe.
Not Ken Watanabe.
Kyle Chandler, who plays Dr. Mark Russell, Vera, whatever her name is.
Farmiga.
Yep, as Dr. Emma Russell. Let me tell you, as soon as I see that, I'm like, oh man, she's gonna be a bad parent. Why? Because she was a bad psychiatrist in that one movie with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Titanic.
Shutter Island.
No. The one where it's also got
The
Matt
Revenant?
Damon in it. Matt Damon,
Matt Damon.
and it's got Mark Wahlberg in it.
The Departed.
The Departed, yeah, because she was a horrible therapist.
Oh, she was the therapist in
Yeah, and so the moment I saw her, I was like, there's going to be some bad parenting here, because she can't, every time I see her in a role, she
I
just
forgot
seems like,
Mark Ruffalo was in Shutter Island. Sorry.
yeah, so I saw her, alright, and then it cuts to a few years later, and Millie Bobby Brown is making toast and breakfast for her mom, and she's emailing her dad, and it seems like her dad is living his best life, taking photos all over the world.
Of wolves.
Yeah. So the mom comes out, asks Millie Bobby Brown, "Hey, what you doing?" And she's like, "Nothing. Just I was gonna make you dinner or breakfast or whatever it was, but I burned it because I'm a fucking idiot, you know." And so the mom looks at the food and she's like, "Oh, what should I eat?" And Millie's like, "You can eat the toast. You know, that's the only good thing." And then she sees the computer, she closes it, and the mom is like, "What were you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I was looking at recipes." And she's like, "To make fucking toast, you stupid bitch." I mean, I'm emphasizing in a lot of these things. I don't think she really cursed at her daughter. But in my
Lucy's
head,
adding his own dialogue.
but in my head, I'm pretty sure she was like, "You're a dumb broad if you think I'm gonna fall for
Slapping around the
how to cook toast." And then the daughter's like, "Oh, you know, it's his dad. I wanted to talk to him." It kind of doesn't really emphasize why they're you know, like the family isn't together, why they're not talking to each other. I don't really know. But then the mom was like, "Hey, I figured something out. I created this machine." And like, you kind of like, "Well, what does this machine do?" And she's like, "Let us communicate with these fucking monsters."
And it's indestructible.
And so
They find that out at the end.
and so she's like, "Whoa, look at all this shit." So then, you know, you think they make it look like they're back home in like fucking like California, but in actuality, they're in, I think, was it Peru? No, were they Mexico? No, they were.
Venezuela.
Was it Venezuela? I thought
I
it was
don't know.
Mexico.
No, Mexico's where Rodan is found.
Okay, well, either way, they're somewhere. They're in a South American country.
Yeah.
Because the pyramid, pyramids are in the background, and then we find out that that's where Mothra is.
Yeah. I'll look.
And so then they find the egg, and then they kind of just plug some shit in, and they electrify Martha to be alive. Martha goes a little crazy. They shoot at it. This thing spits out fucking little webs. Some people die, and people are like, "Yo, we get the fuck out of here. Let's kill this shit." And she's like, "No, I got this." And she, you know, decontaminates herself, walks up, starts fucking playing the frequencies, and then Mothra shooting shit at her. But is this movie supposed to be in 3D?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I get why I was doing those scenes. I was like, is this? You know, Martha misses a couple things. You know, then Millie Bobby Brown comes and runs and is like, "Oh, Mom!" And then they find the right frequency, and Martha's like, "Oh, yeah, let's be friends." And then the dude from Game of Thrones comes in and shoots all these scientists up. They kill him, and they, what is it, Martha runs away or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
And,
The Mothra larva stage runs away.
Yeah, and then they basically take Millie Bobby Brown and this chick.
Vera Farmiga.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then bam,
Emma.
we cut to like the dad, and like he's having some PTSD when he's seeing these like wolves or hyenas rip this meat up, and he hears these noises of them tearing it up, and he's like, "Ugh, ugh." And honestly, I just don't understand why. Like, why would you be doing that job if you have PTSD about like all that shit? Why would you put yourself in a situation where you can see that? Makes no sense to me.
Because he's awesome.
Because he likes BDSM.
Yep.
And then I fell asleep for a little So, from what I remember, is then they're on some ship with the military, and then like they're like, yo, they have your daughter and your wife, and he's like, what? All right, well, I'll figure out how to get him. And I'm just like, this photographer knows a lot of shit. Like, he's pretty well versed. And then I fall asleep again.
Oh, God.
I wake up, and then I see this part where I see the Asian guy from Inception.
Ken Watanabe.
Yeah.
Let them fight.
Oh, wait, no. I think a little bit before that they talk about Godzilla and, like, how, like, they're like, oh, you know, like, we need him or whatever, you know, like, we're
Kim Watanabe is trying to prove that the need for Monarch and the need for the Titan.
Yeah, like, it's the planet. The planet produces him to protect, and, you know,
Yes.
like, we're the ones who have made it shit. And they're like, yeah, we're living in their planet, not the other way around.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, so what are you supposed to... we do with, you know, fucking Godzilla? He's like, I don't know, bro. Like, fuck it. Like, we should just let it be. Like, we should fucking coexist. And then, was the Asian girl from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon? Is that like her big
I don't
thing?
think that's her. No,
You don't think so?
I don't think so. But
I apologize if I assume, but I thought that was like I know I've seen her in something else. So
I can look. I'm currently on the.
Hang on, I got it.
Oh, you might. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Crouching Tiger,
Yep,
Hidden
you're right.
Dragon.
all right, awesome.
She's also in House of Flying Daggers.
Yeah, she's from.
She's in Memoirs
I knew
of a
she was
Geisha.
from Memoirs of a
Okay,
Geisha.
so then it's the same. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
but that's how I remember, it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I thought it was kind of dope. So they talk about that, and then the husband somehow gets in touch with the wife, from what I remember, because like this movie had me so in and out.
No, they
the
wake
focus.
up King Ghidorah. They find out about, and they track them to Antarctica, where they wake up King Ghidorah
Okay.
in the ice, who they call Monster Zero. Monster Zero is supposed to.
Is he the one that gives his own frequency out and they all listen to him?
Yes.
Okay, is that when they
So
discover that he does that?
He starts waking up other monsters.
Okay.
But then they head to Mexico to wake up Rodan.
Okay.
Because they were going to wake them up slowly, and then after they wake up Rodan, that's when the mom calls and they gets a hold of them and tells the plan.
All right, because like I said, like this, it was really hard for me to try. I watched this movie twice and I fell asleep at different parts. it was really tough for me for this movie. But from what I remember, the mom talks to the husband and she's like, "Hey, I made this thing like to talk to them and like, you know, like."
Well, he knew what it was because he helped work on it.
Oh, okay.
They thought they weren't going to keep doing it because it was too dangerous in the wrong hands.
Yeah, but then isn't she saying that like we can control them and use them as their weapons?
She would then start working with the bad guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what was her goal then? Like,
her goal was to restart the world and fix it, because what her data was showing was that we were the big issue, and that they were healing the earth. If you wake them up, they would heal the piece of the earth. Like, if you wake them up, wherever they go, it starts to heal the earth.
Oh yeah, I saw that. She's like, wherever they go, the radiation, it kills everybody else, but like life.
But then it creates life really fast, because then they bring up, I think it's Detroit.
Yeah, they saw the
They
pictures
bring up
of
Detroit in from the first Godzilla movie.
Oh, okay.
And then they show pictures of how plant life is taken over.
Yeah.
And then, but because King Ghidorah woke up, he's not from this planet, we find out then. He is an alien. We find that out then, that he's an alien that came and's not supposed to be there.
Gotcha.
That he starts waking all of them up, because what they were supposed to do was wake one up,
by one,
and then they were supposed to
control
that.
Yeah.
But they wanted to wake Monster Zero up because it was the one that could beat Godzilla.
Gotcha.
Because they needed to beat Godzilla in order to have the alpha sound.
Because he's the king of monsters.
Yes.
And there we have the title.
No, the title's at the end of when that happens.
But okay, so that happens, and then something else happens where, like, I think the Lannister dad got really mad at the wife, and he walks away, and then Millie Bobby Brown also, she's like, "You're a fucking asshole, Mom. You're an asshole."
Yes, but that happens after the fight in the ocean with King Ghidorah and Godzilla. which kills Godzilla. We think Godzilla's dead, but King Ghidorah's alive.
Okay.
And King Ghidorah lost a head, but it grows it back. So now we all think King Ghidorah is immortal. And Godzilla is dead because they lost all its heartbeat. And now we're like, uh-oh, what do we do now?
Thank you. All right. Keep going, because I'm telling you, I know I missed a lot, because I...
That's fine. You're hitting then they argue, and what do you remember next?
I remember them arguing, and then Millie Bobby Brown being like, you're a fucking asshole, I hate you.
Then what?
And then, from there... shit. I think the husband, like he starts to root for Godzilla, or some shit like that.
Well,
Oh, wait, no. Okay, so we find out... Okay, so I get there, and then from what I remember, you find out that Mothra and Godzilla are, like, fucking buddies, and they coexist, and they work with each other to fuck shit up. And so that's what I remember, like, oh, yeah, like, like, they need to coexist, and that's...
And Mothra flies over where they shot Godzilla down.
Yeah.
And then starts singing the song from all the other old Mothra movies.
Oh.
And then it awakens Godzilla.
Okay.
To where we can now find its heartbeat. And then we have now the dad's like, okay, we need Godzilla's help to beat this thing.
Yeah.
So he asks for a warhead. And then him and Ken Watanabe's character from the first one and some other people go in a sub to try and revive Godzilla. While the rest of the military in that group has been drafted because no one believes in Monarch anymore because look at the disaster it's happened. We're going to go shoot them all down.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, we're going to all split up and we're all going to take on all these monsters.
Oh, yeah, then you got, like, other characters that, like, some of them get saved. Some
yes, Ice Cube's son and...
Yeah. Spanish girl, right?
No, there's a Spanish girl, then there's the guy from Hamilton, and... It's a
guy from him.
I'm telling you, man. Like this part.
Him. Anthony Ramos. They're military. They're fighting, but then they go underwater and they find out about Godzilla's old temple, where the people worshipped Godzilla and where he goes to heal, and Godzilla is laying there almost dead.
Yeah.
Because he is healing in the radiation, but it's not moving fast enough.
Okay.
So they're like, he's not going to be healed enough to help us.
Yeah.
So they somehow have to get a warhead up there, but it's to the nuclear material and everything is just melting the robots and all that. So they're like, okay, someone has to go and put it there. So Ken Watanabe volunteers, and I forget what he says a line, and well, I'm going to skip that one because we don't have much more time.
Yeah.
And he goes with the nuclear warhead and blows up and says his farewells to everybody in the franchise, and I'm sad because my favorite line from the first Godzilla movie is "Let them fight," as he stares off into the distance, because Ken Watanabe, all in that Godzilla movie, all he did was stare off into the distance. So he goes and he touches Godzilla, and he's dying because all the radiation. He just pets it, and he says, "In the next life, my friend." And then the bomb blows up.
Oh.
And then that heals Godzilla.
Okay.
But my one question about that entire scene is, now where's Godzilla going to go to heal again? Because we blew up his home, pretty much. But now...
Okay. So,
I'm waiting.
Alright, so yeah, so like I said, I remember, I think there was like some sort of like beam that shot out.
That was him shooting a beam.
Yep.
He shoots it out of the water, which isn't like, he's alive!
Yeah, and then fell asleep again. And then I remember them like showing like King Kong.
Okay, so you're at the end, so I have to tell the end of the movie. Okay.
But you know what I mean? Like that's literally like I saw it twice, and that's all I can remember from this movie.
So then we go to... So Millie Bobby Brown's character decides to steal the orca because Vera Farmiga has the idea to hook the orca up to the speakers in the Dodger Stadium, and that should stop all the monsters in their tracks.
Yeah.
Except for King Ghidorah. So Millie Bobby Brown decides to steal it and hook it up to that, and she does that without anybody knowing, and now she's stuck in the city alone with the monster coming after her.
Okay.
And so King Ghidorah lands, and now Dad is heading that way to help, and then Mom decides to say, forget you, bad guys. You're not going to help me get my daughter.
Yeah.
I'm going to go find my daughter. And they go out and try. Now the collision's going to happen with the mom and the dad that we've been waiting for the whole movie. And King Ghidorah lands, and Millie Bobby Brown has the Orcans running, tosses the orca towards King Ghidorah. King Ghidorah steps on the orca. This is the important thing to remember. King Ghidorah, gigantic creature, wings, 3 heads, fattest monster, steps on it. Now, so then King Ghidorah is there and is about to shoot a laser at Millie Bobby Brown, and then you cue Godzilla music, and then Godzilla comes running up and shoots King Ghidorah, and the military's there with Godzilla, and it's like teamwork.
That's fucking U.S. propaganda right there.
And then
The fucking U.S. brings them down.
And then Godzilla and King Ghidorah fighting. Mothra shows up. King Ghidorah calls Rodan to fight Mothra. Mothra, I guess, stabs Rodan.
Yeah, I saw that. I did see that. He like stabs him like fucking.
Yeah, but Rodan's not dead. Spoiler alert.
For sure, Rodan's immortal.
Rodan should have been dead.
I've seen him die so many times,
Yeah.
but he's not died.
Rodan should have died in your movie. But so
Twice.
and then Godzilla starts losing the fight again. They find Millie Bobby Brown, and they pick up the orca because somehow the orca's still in one piece. Mind you, it's a laptop. So
It's probably made.
people have dropped laptops from tabletops and it's broken.
It's probably made by Nokia. Though.
Ruggedized.
So they then find Millie Bobby Brown at their old house.
Mhm.
They then are like, Godzilla's losing. So they like, okay, they've got to fix the orca. So they fix the orca.
Mhm.
The orca works.
Okay.
It was stepped on
I got you.
by King Ghidorah. And so now they're like, okay, if we take it in the helicopter and we fly the helicopter around, that should give it enough time for Godzilla to get up and blow up because has too much radiation in from when King Watanabe blew up the bomb. He's now sort of a nuke himself.
Yeah.
So they have a countdown to when Godzilla's going to blow, in short. So then Millie Bobby Brown and the dad get in the helicopter. Vera Farmiga looks back at Millie Bobby Brown, looks at King Ghidorah, then looks back at Millie Bobby Brown, says, "I love you," takes the orca in a Jeep and drives away so that it doesn't chase after the chopper.
Yeah.
It chases after her in there. King Ghidorah knocks her down and then says, "All hail the king," and then up comes Godzilla, glowing and melting the entire like building structures and everything towards him, and then starts glowing red in his back, Tyler.
Yeah.
He glows red everywhere.
Yeah, he glows red everywhere, and then he just starts like irradiating nuclear
He
power.
just, like,
I saw that. He went
does,
Super
like-
Saiyan.
Yeah.
He does like little like domes of energy.
Yeah,
that
and then he
blast
starts
out from him.
disintegrating King Ghidorah, and then does one giant blast on King Ghidorah, and then you think that Godzilla has lost because up comes King Ghidorah's head,
Yeah.
but no, then a big laser shoots out of King Ghidorah's mouth and blows up that head, and it's Godzilla standing, and then you see all the other monsters that were in North America come around, and Rodan. Oh, I forgot about Mothra dying. King Ghidorah kills Mothra.
And Mothra's essence goes into Godzilla to bring him back.
And so then they go, "All hail the king," and then they start hinting towards the next one, which is Kong versus Godzilla, because apparently that's where all the monsters were born, is on Skull Island.
Oh, okay. Because
So-
I saw the part where I was like, oh, that looks like King Kong.
I have a
And
theory
then there's
for that.
an end credit sequence where the old man buys the head that fell off in the ocean from King Ghidorah, so that could also lead to Mecha King Ghidorah or Mecha Godzilla. So, with 10 seconds to spare, that is Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Okay.
Any questions for me and Lewis?
A little fun fact that this was the cause Godzilla after Shin Godzilla.
Any questions? Anybody? Anyone?
This movie bombed.
At the box office?
Yeah. The first opening week apparently it didn't do very well opening week.
Yeah, opening week it didn't do well, but it gained ground as time went by.
It had okay staying power.
Because I remember us talking about
made
that.
it okay, Like, it didn't do what the first one did.
Okay.
Which was, came out, did gangbusters, and then did gangbusters the next week, and then was
died.
still there for, like, the rebooted Godzilla stayed there for a while, because everyone loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
That was great.
Okay. So we're going to
But
get
this
robot
one,
punches?
Budget 170, gross 110.
Yeah, so that's why...
Oh, that's U.S.
worldwide,
gross.
Yeah.
Domestic was 447.
So what about worldwide?
386 million.
Okay, so it did make its money back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I remember us
maybe,
talking about it on our box office thing that we used to do. That we
There was box office
sad
numbers?
moment
in the
that we
day.
can't.
I can
Back in
tell
the
you
day
them
when there
now.
was box office numbers.
I have box office numbers. I
We
can
can
tell
still
you.
do it.
What.
You
Don't
wanna
tell
go?
them that's depressing.
I'll tell you the sad numbers. $2.4 million.
Don't say it. It's
is
depressing.
the Honest Thief was last week.
But we talked about how
wanna
it
see
like
that.
it didn't do great in the U.S. but like made its money back internationally
Oh, okay.
because it was doing really well everywhere else.
I'm glad.
So they're coming out with Kong versus Godzilla.
I'm
which
excited to
apparently
see
is
that.
coming.
Because I did like Kong and Skull Island.
I have a theory for that movie
But
What's your theory?
that and you touched on it at the end is that I think that what we're gonna have is Kong is there on Skull Island. Godzilla goes to Skull Island because he senses that King Gojira is alive again, and he needs to go back and make sure he's dead.
you think they're going to team up?
And they're gonna Batman versus Superman it, and Martha, and then and then King Ghidorah is gonna just blast through this mountain all mecha form with one special head, and they're gonna be like, oh shit, and then they're gonna have to fight him.
They're gonna do a fusion dance,
They're gonna team up.
and they're
They're
gonna
gonna
fucking
team up.
Because you can't kill. Because in my opinion, you can't kill Godzilla, and you can't kill King Kong.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be like just King Kong throwing fucking punches, and it's gonna be awesome.
And he wasn't even fully grown in the King Kong Skull Island.
That's what the director said for Godzilla versus Kong. They were like, on a positive note, they said the one line that all we needed to do to make the sense of this, because they were like, Godzilla is 40 feet taller than King Kong. They were like, he is not fully grown, was one sentence that explains away everything. His explains away all common sense.
It's gonna be. I'm looking so forward to that movie.
I am. But do we want to do robot punches?
Sure. Which one? Who wants to start first with
Should we
the
do
movies that
We'll-
they've
we'll-
seen?
We'll just,
Well, I was gonna say.
So we should start with Tyler's
yeah,
movie
we'll just
first.
go how we went.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna give Mechagodzilla a 3 out of 5. It was fun. It was enjoyable. It's a Godzilla movie. The terrible dubbing lowers some robot punches. And Derpy Godzilla, as hilarious as he was to look at, he loses a punch. So 3 out of 5. 1999 Godzilla 1.
No, we're not doing just you. We're doing yours movie first.
Oh, I thought we were doing all of them.
No,
we were talking
your
about-
movie first.
God damn it, Tyler!
Your movie.
It wasn't articulated. I agree with you, Tyler.
Thank you, Ken.
Okay, we're doing your movie first. Then we're doing my movie, then Ken's, then Lewis and mine's. I'm good.
What about the part where you said we were gonna robot punch them all?
I am. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'm doing yours.
We're all robot
I'm
punching
punching
your
your
movie.
If
And
they
then we're
didn't
gonna
see
do
it-
all robot
Oh,
punching
oh,
your
I
movie.
understand.
From your
that.
description.
Oh my goodness.
Well, again, not articulated well.
Now it has been. Better now?
Yes.
Okay.
Clear direction is always great.
3.5 is what I gave the Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. It's a lot of fun.
Wow, that's high score.
I enjoyed the snot out of that movie.
It's aside from the two
It's
things
so
I said,
fun.
like it is fun to watch.
It's a lot of fun to watch, and it's just because it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's just like, we're a Godzilla movie. Let's just do stupid things. Let's have it fight a Megazord, pretty much.
It's got the classic Godzilla look. It's not
It's
something
fun.
crazy or
Yeah.
stupid.
But nobody else saw that one, so now we'll move on to mine. I gave it a 4. Godzilla 1998. This movie takes me back to when I was a kid and went to the $5 theater and watched it every weekend. I don't know why I love it, but I do. It has action, humor, and that's all a giant lizard movie needs, in my opinion. Because I love that movie. Tyler.
1.
You're a terrorist. It's
because Godzilla looks fucking stupid.
fine. No, he doesn't. You're a terrorist.
I hate that Godzilla
Mute him.
with passion.
Mute it.
Worst, second worst Godzilla,
Before I put this podcast up, I'm muting you.
next to Shin Godzilla.
I give this movie a fucking 3. It's great. It was so cool because I remember the VHS cover being holographic, and that was really awesome about that movie case.
I still own that movie.
Yeah. Second of all, that movie, like, I remember watching it so many times because it was just so good. Third of all, Bubba, okay, got the BK, okay, Burger King, and they only pick top brands, okay.
I won't go that far.
All right. Fourth of all, they had an animated series, which I also.
Oh, I
enjoyed.
love the Godzilla animated series that came out of the show.
again-
It just gives it. I did think the Godzilla was weird looking. I was like, this one's definitely on a super lean diet, but it was still good because I remember it was just such a great period to watch. That's like nostalgia factor for me. That's like my Godzilla that I grew up with. So.
I remember sitting around with my dad and my brother. We were like, we're gonna watch this new Godzilla movie. We were so hyped
And
for
then
this fucking Godzilla movie.
And then you
And
all
it comes
hated
out, and we see him come out, and I look at my dad, and I'm like, that's not Godzilla.
That's funny.
And he's
But
like,
yet it is.
and he's like, I don't like this Godzilla. I'm like, I don't like it either.
I do.
Little Tyler hated this Godzilla.
Little
And then they
Tyler's
came out with the
Little
animated series. I'm like, oh man, I love the old animated Godzilla. And they came out with the new one, and I'm like, God damn it, I hate this too.
Why didn't they
Because it
make
spins off from what
Godzuki?
happens at the end of Godzilla with the one egg that made it.
Ugh,
And then they use it to fight crime.
Yeah.
I hate
Fights
it all.
monster crime
I hate
and
it all.
aliens.
Hated all of it.
And then it also showed after The Big Guy and Rusty, which was also a really good show on Fox Kids.
I forgot about that.
That was a pretty dope show.
Did you watch Godzilla '98?
Yes.
Oh, good.
At least once with you.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm the only.
We spent 20 hours in the car to watch this movie together.
I did. I drove to watch that.
What?
We went and saw it Rift Tracks in Tennessee.
We saw Rift Tracks live.
That's
We
awesome.
drove to Tennessee.
Wow, now that's a story in its own.
We drove to see them perform it live on stage.
Was it in Chattanooga?
No, it was in Knoxville.
Yeah.
Still, that's pretty
See,
awesome.
I would watch that.
we
It's-
did.
It's the that was fun, but we decided we don't need to do it again.
It was a long trip. We did a day trip.
It was, we drove down, watched the movie,
Went home.
slept the night in a hotel,
Drove back.
back the next day.
God, you guys are savages.
It was if there had been more to it than what you get when you watch it Rift Tracks live
At the theater.
at the theater, it would have been fine. But there was I expected them to come out and warm up the crowd a little bit before, but when you see them come out before the when you're watching a Rift Tracks live event
That's it.
at your local and they come out, that's it. That's the first time the audience is seeing them as well.
Well,
You get a really the
We were
live
expecting more live interaction.
the live show is. I mean, if we were local, heck yes, all the time for sure. But it's not worth the drive.
Not worth the 20
To do
20
it.
hours.
It just wasn't.
I got Sharknado underwear on that trip. I got a belt. And I caught one of the squishy Godzillas. So
Nice.
There
that was the only
swag.
extra. Yeah, that was the only extra.
They threw out
was a-
squishy
they
Godzillas.
threw out tiny squishy Godzillas.
Teeny tiny bit of swag.
I do have that swag. Hold on.
Squishy
Well,
Godzilla.
well,
It's
What would
not
you give
really a
it, Ken?
Godzilla. It's a T-Rex. 2.25.
That's right.
When I first saw this movie, I enjoyed it a lot. I have since watched it. I have watched other
That
Godzilla
looks like
movies.
Velocipaster.
Not a lot of other Godzilla movies, but I understand the
I should give you a toy.
Godzilla, yeah, he might rip it in half. And,
What? No.
Yeah, and then do some weird ASMR and then leave it all over your floor.
Oh my god. I've never done.
you're never gonna live that down, Lewis. I have.
I'm sending you a picture of it.
I have seen, like, I understand where Tyler's coming from, that the fandom does not like this Godzilla. They're like, no, this is Zilla. It's not Godzilla. It's just Zilla.
It's dog shit.
I
Call
get
it by
it.
its real name.
I totally get where they're coming from, but I also, like my friends here at this table, this was the first Godzilla movie that I ever saw. So I didn't really know any better when I saw it the first
Also
time.
true.
It's a bit of a. It's not a very good movie.
I don't know why I love it. It's not.
But it's just fun enough. It's just fun enough. It's just bad enough that it. And I could rewatch it and maybe feel differently about it, but from my Nashville, Tennessee viewing, which I think was the last time I watched this movie, 2.25.
Now Shin Godzilla, which is just me again.
Shin Godzilla.
I've seen
Two-
some parts of it.
Two
Just like you saw parts of your
robots punches.
Godzilla.
One for the concept of a plucky group of bureaucrats rising up to save to save the planet. Two, second robot punch for the awesome porcupine beam weapon. I really think this movie wanted to be a political thriller by way of a Godzilla movie. It just didn't do a good job of it. There were too many bureaucrats, too big a monster, and too big a scope to get us invested in enough of the characters, and the effects were all just bad enough that it felt fake, and you never really felt like there were stakes. There's a good idea here, it was just poorly executed. I want someone to try this with a zombie outbreak or a less immediately world-ending monster. And like I said, I think like there's the subplot in the first Transformers movie with the hackers, where they find the signal and they backtrace the signal. Now just take that idea and make it a movie.
Yeah. I gave it a 4.
Ooh.
Bureaucracy versus Godzilla is such a great piece of satire. How a government reacts to monster attack. One part that kills me is all the phone calls that they threw just to fire a missile. This movie is so good.
I didn't think of it as satire.
Oh, I forgot to read my favorite thing from your movie,
That
Tyler.
is a possible reading of this.
Oh yeah, there was a good favorite thing from.
This is somebody else's review about from Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. That title is just lazy. They could have called this movie Godzilla, Rodan, and Super Mechagodzilla. Giant monster all-out custody battle. It's a great review. I liked that review.
That is a good review. That person gets 5 robot punches.
Yes. If I could give that guy robot punches, he would. Now we're on to Godzilla King of the Monsters, Lewis. For what I'm going to gamble that it's low because you didn't finish it.
I give it, well, I'm going to combine it with the first Godzilla movie that I saw and also slept through. I gave this movie a 1.5 stars. I try to watch it twice. The storyline just kind of bores me. Like, I tried really hard to stay up for it.
But you shouldn't watch any other Godzilla.
I couldn't get into it. I did appreciate how awesome the art was, and that's honestly just about it. Like, I enjoy the posters and the way it looks and how cool the monsters look, but other than that, like, I thought the acting was kind of shitty, and like it was just something that like I don't know why it just really didn't click with me. I can get why people loved it, because I mean I did see the fighting scenes, and while you were while you were talking to me, I was able to check some fighting scenes out on the movie, but it was just not for me, not my cup of tea.
Do you want to go or me?
I loved the one before that.
Godzilla.
Just Godzilla. I don't think we were doing the podcast then when it came out, but I probably would have gave that one a 5 out of 5 Robot Punches. I'm also going to give this one 5 out of 5. I was so excited when they announced that they were doing a second one. I'm like, yes!
You did love this movie when we saw it.
I loved the shit out of it. Me, you, and Luigi watched it.
No, it was just you and me.
Didn't we watch it at the AMC up, real close?
No, it was something else. Luigi wasn't there. It was just you and me.
We watched something else and the trailer came on.
Yeah, that was you, me, and Ken, and it was Aquaman.
Yeah, and it was just
and then that blew our ears out. And then we were like, I hope Aquaman's not like this.
And then Godzilla blowing my ears out had me excited from that moment.
It's also a sexual
oh yeah, I was wet. I was wet.
The Aquaman or the Godzilla blew your ears off?
Godzilla. Anyways, 5 out of 5. I loved it, especially fighting King Gojira.
You would love it.
Fuck yes. I can't wait for Kong vs. Godzilla. I cannot.
Yeah, that looks awesome because I did like Kong, but I
can't wait for Lewis to sleep through it.
I can't wait for Lewis to take another nap. I watched. I give this movie a 3 because the fight scenes are great. Godzilla looks great. I can't stand Millie Bobby Brown, and because she was only put in this movie because of Stranger Things at that point, because they were like, we need a child act, a preteen actor, Millie Bobby Brown, and then what?
I looked Millie Bobby Brown up. She's older than you think. Actually, no, she's not. She's 16.
Yeah. And I don't like their treat. I think Ken Watanabe could have been used better in this movie than he was, because he was so pivotal to the last one, in my opinion. They just didn't use him to his fullest. I liked his death scene, but he was my favorite character. And just to kill him off before the big movie, where I want him to explain why King Kong and Godzilla are fighting and how that we shouldn't let them fight and how they need to work together or something. That's what I wanted, and I'm not gonna get it, and I'm really disappointed. But
oh yeah, I'm pretty
rewatching it again at home, I enjoyed it more, because originally when I went into this, I was giving it a 2. But rewatching it again at home, I liked it a lot better, and I felt that the parents were better. That storyline wasn't as dominating as I thought it was originally. Because I remember watching this movie being like, man, I hate this storyline about just 2 arguing parents that have a child in the middle that is then the main focus of this whole movie. But it wasn't. So I was like, okay, the story got better. So maybe after another viewing, I'll like it again and it will grow up.
I just can't wait. I'm so excited for the slugfest that's going to be Kong versus Godzilla.
I'm just disappointed that more people from the first Godzilla movie that started this are not in Kong versus Godzilla.
Why?
Either.
Why is that?
I don't know. One's an Avenger and one is Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Because then they have an older son. Was the son killed?
Kong Skull Island was a period piece.
Yeah, Kong Skull Island's a period piece. I'm not talking Kong Skull Island, the first Godzilla movie. I understand why Brie Larson's not in it, but I'm talking about Elizabeth Olsen, Aaron Taylor Johnson. The people from the first Godzilla movie. I understand why Brie Larson and Tom Hiddleston aren't in that, because they're from because Godzilla's from Vietnam era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right after it.
Yeah. So.
But that's what I mean. I don't know. Something about Godzilla, it looks cool, and every time I try to watch it, it's just.
Godzilla movies are not for everybody because they are slow build up. But it's an interesting sort of thing. But you can like Skull Island's different because I feel like Skull Island put humor all throughout. Yeah. Well, whereas this movie, it was not humorous. Yeah. It was very a straightforward sort of monster movie.
But that's the thing. I used to enjoy watching the older Godzilla movies. I can't remember which ones they were, but when they used to be on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to remember watching some of these, and I was like, "Yo, I love the dubbing on this." Like, I enjoyed the weird stuff. Like, I would probably enjoy Shin Godzilla way more. Like seeing the way I was. I love that dub shit.
I don't know if you would like Shin Godzilla, because Shin Godzilla, Godzilla's not in it a lot.
If you had trouble staying awake
Through Godzilla King of the Monsters,
you would not do well in this one.
It's literally them sitting in office buildings through
talking
most
all
of the movie.
day.
Yeah.
I do, because it's like I like when they do the shitty dubs. You know, I like, you know, when they dub over.
I
stuff
didn't watch
like,
it dubbed,
this is the
You
dubs
would like
is
the
not.
first.
It's very flat.
Yeah,
So-
it's
Dubbing,
not,
the
yeah.
dubbing in Shin Godzilla is very.
It's
flat.
not like
Okay,
it's
maybe
not
not.
like it's not like the older ones where they put some
Yeah.
emphasis on it. It's not like if you watched his Godzilla
See,
movie.
I'd probably like his because
Yeah.
I know I liked those ones back in the day. I was like, oh,
I saw you were looking at a clip of
Yeah.
the first Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
You would love the shit.
That's
out
what
of
I mean.
that
Like I that's why like I just like that.
Yeah, because
style.
you like the room. You like Room.
Yeah.
That's The Room. Sorry. You like The Room because of how just weird the dialogue is and how
Yeah.
his emphasis is. So yeah, I could see where you would get behind that. Whereas like an American-made Godzilla movie where it's just played straight, you probably wouldn't.
Oh no, yeah. Like I
Yeah,
said, like
okay.
I tried many times, and it's just.
So
I
you
don't
would
know
really
what it-
you would really like his movie.
Oh fuck yeah! Oh, I know I would. Are you kidding me? I love Megazords. And seeing I love Power Rangers, and knowing that these guys are in these suits doing that shit,
Oh snap!
I love it.
Well, that was our experiment. Send us emails if you enjoyed that.
Just because
But-
I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, and
Am I editing for 2 hours again?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
yes.
Hey, look. At least it's a lot of editing that gets to happen. I'll have fun doing it. It's not just like one conversation about a movie. It's a conversation about a bunch of movies.
It's about 4 of them.
about 4 of them.
No,
All right.
no
hey,
power this
And
time.
if you like this, give us another genre or another series of films that we could do this with. James Bond just popped into my head. We could do
Oh,
James
that'd be
Bond,
fun.
and
Yeah.
We all watch a different James Bond movie.
maybe
Yeah.
some John Wayne.
Well, I want to do John Wayne month, so.
Yeah, we could. Westerns would be
Western.
another. We all watch a
Mustache
different
month?
Western.
Mustache. Anyways,
Well, we're doing that in February. Hopefully.
it's that time of night.
It is.
It's
that
that time of night. It's that time of night. It's that time of night. It's that time of night.
It's that time of night.
It's
You can go to our
that time of
website,
night.
www.thepostmanpodcast.com. You
It's
can
that time of
email
night.
us,
It's that time of night.
thepostmanpodcast@gmail.com.
It's
Find us on
that
Twitter,
time
at
of
The
night.
Postman Pod,
It's that time of
Instagram,
night.
The Postman Podcast,
It's
Facebook,
that
The
time
Postman
of night.
Podcast,
It's that
Letterboxd,
time of night.
The Postman Pod,
It's
and we
time
are
of
on
night.
YouTube.
It's
Go
that
watch our
time
art
of night.
video.
It's
That is
that
The
time of
Posterman.
night. It's that time of night. It
It's
was
that
that time of night. It was that
You
time
guys
of
really
night.
screwed up.
Yes, we did. Yes, we surely did.
Yoo-hoo!
We're not perfect. No, we are not.
Why the? Why not?
Because we're not.
Cause we suck. Because we suck.
We haven't been doing this for 3 years. It's fine.
Because we haven't been doing it. Anyways.
But we'll
was
see you all
Godzilla.
next time, and we're all done with Creature Feature Month, and we move on to something else.
Go Gadget.
isn't
Good
it-
night,
isn't it-
everybody.
We'll talk
Go
about it later.
Gadget, reach
Okay,
around.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.